we're almost done with February. We've had 39 inches of snow this month, and we will not add to that total today. We'll see a couple of clouds floating by, but we'll get a fair amount of sunshine as well, and it should warm up. Yesterday, our high was 14, and that was our warmest day this week. We'll get into the 20s this afternoon, but we are getting ready for snow tomorrow, first day of March. Why not? More of the same. Here's the timing on it. I don't think it's going to be a big issue by this time tomorrow morning, so the morning commute should be okay. But on the tail end of that, 8:39, snow starts to get going and it'll hang on into the evening drive. That one I would expect to be slow. By dinner time, it's just about done. 1 to 3 inches here in the cities, up into St. Cloud, Mankato, Newell, Owatonna, Brainerd. You're all kind of in that same 1 to 3 inch range. The only spot that's really going to be quite a bit lighter is northern Minnesota, where maybe a ½ inch of snow falls. Okay, this story has been one of the most talked about things on our Facebook page. A new study from the U of M says biking is the happiest form of transportation. So you compare this to driving, walking, public transit. Biking apparently most associated with happiness. Public transit, the least happy. So they did control for location, so it wasn't just cyclists in San Diego are thrilled. You know, look at those folks in shorts. No, there's people in cold weather cities too. So I want to know, does your commute bring you joy? Bike, car, bus, otherwise. Are you happy about it, or are you just cranking about the traffic every morning? If you're on Facebook or Twitter, leave us a comment. We'll read through some of those coming up in just a little bit. Big news overnight. President Trump left Vietnam early with no deal. He says North Korea asked for too much.
Basically, they wanted the sanctions lifted in their entirety, and we couldn't do that. They were willing to denuke a large portion of the areas that we wanted, but we couldn't give up all of the sanctions for that.
The U.S. was hoping to get concrete steps from Kim Jong-un to dismantle North Korea's nuclear program. President Trump said North Korea was willing to get rid of nukes in some areas, but the U.S. couldn't give up all the sanctions for that. When the president returns to Washington, he'll face the fallout from Michael Cohen's testimony to Congress. He had this to say just before he left Vietnam.
He lied a lot, but it was very interesting because he didn't lie about one thing. He said no collusion with the Russian hoax.
Michael Cohen told lawmakers he had no direct evidence of President Trump or his aides colluding with Russia. Cohen did provide financial evidence of hush money payments to Stormy Daniels.
He asked me to pay off an adult film star with whom he had an affair and to lie about it to his wife.
Cohen said President Trump reimbursed him for that $130,000 payment in installments so it would look like a retainer. Cohen will testify again today behind closed doors before the House Intelligence Panel. All right, back in Minnesota, they're talking about gun control at the state capitol today. Last night, universal background checks were approved by a House panel, but a vote on a red flag law was delayed until tonight. That would let families and police petition courts to remove guns from people who pose a threat. Hundreds of people for both for and against gun laws showed up last night.
When most of you were in school, your first thought when you walked into a classroom was not to identify potential escape routes. Every day when I walk into my classes, that's what I do.
That wasn't one of you, was it?
House Democrats have vowed that these bills will pass, but their fate remains unclear. It's a Republican-controlled Senate. Minnesota's newest professional team finally has the keys to the new stadium. There you go, Allianz Field, all covered in snow. It's been hard to miss this thing if you've been driving along 94 over the last several months. The exterior changes colors. It'll look pretty cool at night thanks to that first-of-its-kind exterior skin of LED lights. First home game for the Loons, April 13th. They're hosting New York FC. All right, big news for foodies. The James Beard Awards put out their list of semi-finalists, and there's a lot of Minnesotans on the list. Popol Vuh in northeast Minneapolis. They're on the list for the best new restaurant in the country. Mexican restaurant is attached to the Taco Shop Centro, which I've been to, and there's a much shorter wait to get into. Spoon River's owners got a nod for the best restaurant tours. The chef at St. Paul's Hyacinth has a shot at Rising Star Chef in the country. That's for chefs under 30. Alma, best restaurant, up for that, and Bachelor Farmer is in the running for best wine program. Okay, good news if you've been dreaming about a trip to Hawaii. Who hasn't been thinking about that over the last month? Apparently flights there could soon be pretty cheap. Southwest has just been cleared to fly from California to Hawaii. They're waiting on FAA certification because the trip is long, over water flight, and few places for emergency landings. Tickets for that, though, should go on soon, and I'm sure if you are on the Southwest email list, you will get several emails about that. Okay, back to today's talker. A new study from the U of M says biking, happiest form of transportation. We have many bike commuters year-round here at CCO, and I don't think I've ever seen them complain, even on those really cold, really snowy days. There's always like a sense of pride in it. Cole, our digital guy, is not one of those bike commuters, although you could be. You have the beard for it. You'd be hardy enough.
I mean, you know, I should do it more. I mean,
How do you get to work?
I usually
Mom
drive.
drops you off?
Unfortunately, I drive, and it makes me, you know, pretty frustrated.
Pretty frustrated, right? I think that's how most people feel that drive. All right, so what does the internet say?
As far as liking their commute, we've got Wendy saying, my commute from my bed to my couch is rough, but coffee makes it better.
Yeah, I mean, that is a long 30 feet.
Then we have Beth saying something similar. It's a long commute down the hall from, to the home office. The cat pileups are horrid, though.
All right, we get it. You know, you're doing great. Maybe you're retired or you work from home, but the rest of us schlubs do have to kind of get to work at some point, some way.
As far as biking, Robin says, yup, take your sick baby to the dock in 0-degree weather on your bike.
You got those little, what are those things called on the back? Berkeys?
Little carriages
yeah,
or something like
those
that.
things. Yeah, that's not great.
Yeah.
Okay, well, that is it. That is all for the 734 from WCCO. A time when most in the Twin Cities are on the go, feeling happy on their bikes. If you haven't already made us your home for mobile news, go ahead and do that. We're going to be back here tomorrow. Final day of the week, first day of March. We'll see you tomorrow at 7:34. Until then, be nice to each other on the internet.